So it's another day. I think by looking through the curtain, it's actually raining today. It's really hard to see it though. So that looks pretty overcast out there. I have to look at the weather report because I'm not sure if it said it's going to be raining all day, but it seems like it. I still have a headache from yesterday. I virtually was very stressed yesterday, and I ended up just watching movies for the afternoon and the evening. I didn't want to do anything much yesterday. I didn't work. But today I woke up, and usually I feel pretty good when I wake up, but today I woke up and I feel like I've bumped my head during the night or something. So I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm going to have much enthusiasm once again today. Virtually, I don't know really what's wrong with me. Usually, when I have a headache or something, I blame the fact that I'm looking at the internet and I'm looking at my phone too much. But I don't know, I could have some other issue. Last night I was a little bit aggravated because I sort of felt kind of stuck in a rut sometimes, and I get angry that I'm not able to do whatever I feel like, and that I'm sort of cut off and I can't do whatever I want. I was looking at an article on the internet and it said like Maya in the city had a closing down sale and everything was like really cheap. Other things were $1, and I was like, of course I would have gone if I was living close to the city. Then of course the aspect of money came into it, and then I had a headache because I have every reason to not consider money options because of the fact that I probably won't have much money even in 10 years' time. And then, of course, that gets me on the ballot of, oh, I really shouldn't waste time just living here just because it's easy. But then, of course, because I don't really have any income, I probably won't move anywhere either. Not to say I'm not trying to get a job for income, it's just that when it comes down to picking who people want to employ, they often swing off in another direction, and then, of course, you're left without a job. Then, of course, are those jobs that I had in the previous week or two that require a little bit of a better computer and a bit of a higher drive. And you're like going, well, I'm not going to be buying another computer because I already have two. And if they're not good enough, I can be bothered. And that's why I bought all these things to make my own little music studio. I sort of vaguely remember making some sort of weird song once and it went really well. But I was living with some other weird people and they didn't just steal a song, they stole all the things that I used to make it. And so I've actually re-brought stuff that I brought ages and ages ago to make songs, and that's probably what I'm going to try and use. And I probably will need to spend a little bit more on a music editor program, but once I've got everything in place, I can then have another go at making some sort of song which isn't just plain vocals, has a little bit more integrity. I'm sure if I've done it once, I can do it again. I just have no idea how it's going to work out or what on earth I'm going to create. But it's all in essence of the idea that yes, you can make money making songs. Yes, I've done it once before. Everyone stealed like the song as well as my equipment. So I'll have one more go. Maybe that will work out. Virtually, you don't need a lot of songs. You just need something cool that someone might like or think is original. And then it's all easy going from then on. Really, sometimes when you're sort of choosing, oh, what else can I do besides work and, you know, owning a business to earn money? Because when I open a business, I find it very difficult to run it because, the government pounces on you. and they put everything under speculation, and then all these weird people show up and they bully you into doing something you don't want to do, and then when you do it, everything fails. And sometimes, even if you've got a nice clean business and you're running it with a few other people, the government still pounces on you and makes any excuse why it's not good, and then they shut it down anyways. And then, of course, if you run a business from home, everything's a scam. The government just doesn't want you to do anything, even though you're not actually um, proliferating funds and you're not being dishonest. You actually are doing whatever the business is intended to do, but the government still doesn't like it. And so they go out of their way to tell you you're not allowed to run that business. It's an illegal business. If you run it, you're going to be discredited because we don't like your business. Technically, I've had a business open for a bit over a year. It's made zero profits because I haven't even tried to make it run. I should probably go out of my way to do a profits and loss chart for the previous year, but generally it's not actually running at the moment. But if I bothered to run it, I could, but I'll probably get into trouble once again. And I have no idea what the trouble would be, but I know I'm sort of on the bad end of things, and I'm not very excited about it. I'd rather have a different kind of business running. But the government just, like, once again, even when I had a nice little art business running, government was finding faults and something that wasn't really faulty. Maybe it needed a little bit of tweaking, but it's nothing that couldn't be fixed. And they just charge ahead and go, "Nah, you're a scam," and let's wipe out the business, even though all it needed was a little bit of adjustment. And then I had a pretty good running idea that would have profited me, which is the only person that I think about. By the way, government, um, it would have profited me. It would have been good for any person who purchased from it. Would think, oh, this is a nice item, and and whatnot. So it was a good idea, but the government closed everything down, and so everything's a scam when it was just like a premature business that needed a little bit of tweaking to make it perfect, and then it would have been readjusted to suit government ideals plus my personal ideals, and then everything would have been cool. But of course, something like that costs a lot of money, and so I'm like, you just find it very difficult, to do your own business because the government's like very hard set against you from doing anything. So that's why you're sort of trying to use, your Amazons or eBays to conduct uh, the, like, what is primarily more like a platform to do business as opposed to you running your own business. Of course, that means someone else profits the big money, but then, of course, all you can do is profit little bits of money. But some people do very well that way, and it's the safer way to do any business idea. You don't waste thousands of dollars trying to set up your own business, but also you don't run it, so you won't get the biggest profits, but some people do it very well. I think those sorts of platforms are the types of platforms that the government would rather you do, so then you're not like a runner of your business, you're just like a little person in compared to a bigger world, and then you can usually do things without issues. Of course, everyone wants to do that and do that well, but then, of course, if you're like me and you live with other people, I can't even bring my stuff out of storage because there's no space to put my stuff if I bring it out here. I would have to hire a separate storage container, and that costs $250 a month, and just to have my stuff nearby. Plus, another couple $1,000 to have it brought here. And as you can see, everything's costing more and more, and without a job, I'm having issues affording that. So I basically spend $200 a month on storage, and that's to keep my stuff in storage, and I'd rather have it here so that I can go back to, doing what I do the best, and, but I should have brought it here ages ago when we were first moving, but I didn't, and Now I just don't have my stuff, and I'm finding it very difficult to get it over here when I can't afford anything. Waiting to win lotto seems to be like an everlasting thing. So you just have that on the side of things. I enter lotto every week, just to be in the running to win it. But of course, I never do. And so I'm like, well, I'll just leave it there. There's not really that much general lotto, so I virtually just leave it running by itself. And sometimes I win a little bit, and sometimes I don't. Most of the times I don't. Sometimes I do. And then when I do, that pays for a couple of tickets, and then it goes back to you needing to pay for it. But it's all cool. I just keep that on the side. It's like giving to charity. Just a little bit of money on the side, and no biggie. But until then, I sort of have to sort of come up with ideas to do stuff from home. And I don't know. Don't know really what to do. I always consider the idea of doing some sort of TikTok or something, but then I'm like, last time I did TikTok, it was mean. People were putting me under abuse, and the police actually canceled the account that I wasn't ever supposed to be able to cancel, because of corruption. And that's why I virtually don't do TikTok, because it was very mean, and I don't know. It's sort of like the movie industry, but from your own home. And I don't know, maybe I'll do it later. I'm not very excited about doing it right now, but if I ever am like, well, I've lasted so long and everything's failed me, may as well try doing that TikTok thing that people always recommend you try to do, and I can do that later when I couldn't be bothered doing anything. But yeah, I don't know what else you can do from home, besides art, and I'm not very engaged with art because I don't have any space to do art, and I cannot do many pieces of art because I've got space issues, and I can't just pick up paint and do it. I have to set it up outside because no one wants me to paint wherever I feel like it. And I don't have an easel. I've got a desktop easel. I don't have a real easel, so setting things outside is like, and I probably won't be able to do it on a table because the tables are made of certain kinds of woods, and no one wants me to put any paint on those. And so I'll probably have to do it on the grass or somewhere uncomfortable, and yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I'll bring my stuff out of storage and try doing that again, because that's my stuff has like the blanket that I put on the old tables if I feel like doing it. And it can be put on the ground. It's a specific waxed blanket that can have paint splotched on it, and it's pretty durable. But now that I've talked for many minutes about my money issues and failed ideas, I must say, I did my art last night. It's somewhere over there. I don't think you can see it from here. My chair's in the way. It was a failed experiment. I'll probably show you in the next video because I have to bother to get up to actually find it. It's just behind the chair there. And of course, the chair has everything that doesn't fit into my drawers.